So, over the weekend, I watched Wasteman, which is a film starring Tom Blyth and David Jonsson, some hot and upcoming UK actors that I think are really, really talented, particularly David Jonsson, who was in The Long Walk, as well as Alien Romulus, and also Rye Lane. Tom Blyth is also a very good actor. He is a lot more on the route to being somewhat of a sex symbol, and he has been in projects such as The People You Meet on Vacation. He is a sought-after figure in the YA space, as well as in the space that's directed towards young women and also teenage girls. And in this project, what I found so inspiring about it is the fact that it is so drastically different from what I have seen either of these two actors doing before. David Jonsson brings his trademark vulnerability that he has in all of his characters, that he is able to cover it up with a bit of charm usually. In this film, there is none of that. He is completely exposed and is completely shown to be uncomfortable with the environment that he is in, and only really survives by almost being a leech and by being willing to do basically whatever it is that is asked of him, as long as it means that he is left alone. Tom Blyth, on the other hand, is a complete far cry from the usual film crush sort of energy that we get. The young bleach blonde sort of toy boy look that he gives off isn't really present in this. Instead, he is brutal, he is raw, he is visceral, he is willing to get in your face and kill you, to do whatever it is that is necessary, because this is his life in this system, and he loves this. He is all about this. There is nothing in him where he wants to make it out that he wants to have a better life. This is it for him. This is his life. And I believe this so deeply about Tom Blyth in this film that I was constantly looking at him and going, I didn't know that this guy had this in him. I thought he was just kind of the cultural icon, just the bit of the toy boy, the guy that a lot of girls would watch and have a crush on. And instead, there isn't anything sexy about him. There isn't anything charming, really, other than the fact that he is charming, but you always know that it is to disarm you, and that at any moment he could flip. And on several occasions in this film, he does flip, and he goes between being charming and charismatic to being violent, and then almost immediately back to charismatic. And in this film, it is done in such a way where it is almost required of him to do it in one take, and it is really, really brutal and honest, but also really suggests the acting capabilities of Tom Blyth to go back and forth between those two energies. In this film, I think David Jonsson has a lot easier of a job because he is kind of one note in some sense. It is something that he is quite familiar with, I would say, playing that vulnerability, and I think Tom Blyth carries this film in a lot of ways because of the nature of his role being a lot more dynamic and having to shift between 2 or 3 different personalities. That's not to say that David Jonsson isn't excellent in this film. It's just to say that really I don't think that either of these characters go through much character development, and therefore it's much more about which actor is a lot more enjoyable and dynamic in their character, and I would say that that is Tom Blyth. What this film did suggest to me, though, is that I think that both of these actors would be really, really bold choices for the next James Bond. It's not going to be either of them because it is too bold and because they don't fit the archetypal hero that James Bond attempts to fill. But David Jonsson has the capability to express vulnerability in the way that Daniel Craig does, especially in the earlier and the later James Bond films. Tom Blyth, on the other hand, has the look as well as the charismatic charm that you need as James Bond, but it is almost definitely not going to happen with either of them, particularly because of films like this. In the run-up to getting chosen as the next James Bond, actors do not go out and make films like this. They make films like Layer Cake, where it is almost a signal of, I can do this. I know I can do this. Or you do what Callum Turner is doing right now, and you do the rom-com space. You show your charismatic side, you show your sincere side. Either one of those methods is correct and almost paves the way for being 007. I do not think a film like Wasteman does that. Finally, I will say that the direction of this film is excellent. It looks like you're watching a Snapchat story or a TikTok for the entire film pretty much, and yet I never really felt like it was tiring or exhausting. I was never disappointed or fatigued when I saw a phone pop up on screen. And actually, I think that the integration of the vertical slices of prison life makes the film incredibly authentic. It makes you feel like you are living inside the system. And this is probably, in my opinion, the closest that we've ever gotten to actually looking into a real British prison. And if you know or live in the UK, you don't need to have been inside to know that this is an accurate portrayal of a UK prison, because we hear about it, you hear it in the accents, you hear about it in the brutality, and that's what this film does best, is that it is realistic, it is raw, it is brutal, it is honest. It does that through methods that I don't think a lot of other more experienced filmmakers are capable of doing. A lot of experienced filmmakers are out here trying to integrate cameras and phones and technology. The debut feature from McCau does it immediately and does it excellently. I don't think that realistic films like this are something that we get to see very often, and it is because of the brutality of this film. It's not something that a lot of people want to watch, but it is something that is worth watching, especially if you're in the UK. You probably need to watch this so that you can kind of have a bit of an idea of what is going on in these places. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, all that jazz. My socials, my links, everything is down below. My Letterboxd is down there. Please follow my Letterboxd specifically, because that's where you're likely to see a lot of films that I don't review if you're interested. Bye.